Today I'm going to teach you how to gather a skirt the proper way. Okay, this is the bodice that I want to attach the skirt to. You can see that there's a stretchy section on the back, so I need to account for this section when I sew the skirt. So basically, there is a section of the skirt that will correspond to this section of the bodice, and I'm going to gather that section of the skirt slightly less, and I'm going to sew it to the bodice while it's stretched, so that when it's allowed to unstretch, the gathers will look the same as the rest of the gathers on the bodice. Okay, so now that I've calculated the distance that the skirt needs to have for the stretchy part, I'm just going to measure that distance out on my skirt. Now I have this section that I've just marked off with pins, and I'm going to use that section for the stretchy part of the bodice. I have my machine set to the longest stitch length, and I'm just going to sew two seams, one at around a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and then one a little further up towards the top of the skirt. So I'm approaching the second pin for the stretchy section. I'm going to stop when I get here, and for both the start and finish of the seams, I'm not backstitching at all. So I'm stopping here, I'm going to snip the thread. I'm going to leave pretty long tails though. And then I'm going to go back to the start of that section, and I'm just going to sew a second seam a little closer to the edge. Okay, so now I have those seams sewn. These 4 strings are for the stretchy section, and these 4 strings are for the sides and front. So what I'm going to do is take the bottom strings for this stretchy section, and I'm going to tie them together. And then I'm going to go to the end of the stretchy section, and I'm going to tie the top strings this time. Okay. What that allows me to do is I can take the other strings that aren't tied for that section, and I can pull on them, and they will gather the fabric like that. And what I can also do is go to the beginning section and pull on the top threads from this end. So I'm just going to keep gathering it until the length of the section equals 13.5 inches. Okay, at this point I've attached a lining to it, and then I've just turned it inside out. And I'm going to pin it to the actual bodice now. Okay, so that's pinned all the way around, and now I can go sew it. Okay, so at this point it's sewn all the way around, so what I'm going to do is go through with my seam ripper and just start taking these threads out all the way around. Okay, I unpicked all of the threads along the waistband, and I overlocked the seam on the inside, and this is how it turned out. It turned out pretty well. You could definitely see the gathers better in a different type of skirt, but I just wanted to show the general process for how I do gathers, and I hope that was helpful.